Tonight we travel back nearly 2,000 years. The Roman Empire is vast, golden, and rotting from within. At its center sits a man born to greatness, but consumed by madness. Commodus, son of Marcus Aurelius, heir to philosophy, drunk on power. He fights in the arena dressed as Hercules. He renames the months after himself. He believes he is a god. But behind the velvet curtains of his palace, Rome is whispering. The Senate fears him. The people mock him, and his own servants sharpen their blades. December 31st, 192 AD. The emperor enters his bath. He feels divine. He feels untouchable. But history is patient, and death is waiting just behind the curtain. This isn't just a murder. It's the collapse of a dynasty, the death of reason, and the final breath of Rome's golden age. Welcome to the red pages of history, where every episode uncovers the moment a blade, a bullet, or a belief changed the fate of nations. In our previous episode, we stood in Tijuana, 1994, watching Luis Donaldo Colosio fall beneath the crack of a pistol. A man who carried Mexico's hope was silenced in daylight. But history doesn't only bleed in modern streets. Sometimes it bleeds in marble halls. Sometimes the dagger is held by a slave. And sometimes the emperor dies not with honor, but with a gasp. Let's begin. He was born into power. Lucius Aurelius Commodus came into the world on August 31st, 161 AD, in the shadow of emperors and philosophers. His father was Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic ruler, the philosopher king, the man who wrote Meditations while commanding legions. Rome expected greatness from his son, but history had other plans. Commodus was raised in palaces, surrounded by tutors, generals, and marble gods. At age 5, he was named Caesar. At 15, he became co-emperor. And at 19, he ruled the Roman Empire alone, the youngest sole emperor in its history. But Commodus was not his father. Where Marcus Aurelius was thoughtful, Commodus was impulsive. Where Marcus sought wisdom, Commodus craved worship. He didn't want to rule. He wanted to be adored. He declared himself the reincarnation of Hercules. He wore lion skins, carried a club, and posed for statues as a demigod. He renamed Rome to Colonia Commodiana. He renamed the months after his own titles. He demanded that senators worship him as a living deity. This wasn't just vanity. It was delusion, and Rome began to tremble, not from war, but from madness at the top. Commodus didn't just watch the games, he fought in them. He entered the Colosseum dressed as Hercules, slaying animals and mock opponents. He charged the treasury 1,000,000 sesterces per appearance, bankrupting Rome for his ego. The people cheered, but the Senate recoiled. They saw not a god, but a child playing with blood. Commodus trusted no one. He executed senators. He purged advisors. He surrounded himself with flatterers, sycophants, and lovers who fed his fantasies. He ruled through fear, and behind his golden statues, Rome began to rot. By 192 AD, Commodus was unstable, erratic, and increasingly isolated. He planned to celebrate the new year by appearing as a gladiator, not just in costume, but as Rome's sole ruler and champion. The Senate panicked. His mistress, his chamberlain, and his wrestling partner began to plot. The emperor, who thought he was a god, was about to meet something far more powerful: history's patience. December 31st, 192 AD, the final day of the year, the final day of an emperor. Rome is quiet, not peaceful, just waiting. The streets are tense, the Senate holds its breath, and inside the imperial palace, Commodus prepares for a celebration unlike any other. He has declared that tomorrow, on the first day of the new year, he will appear in the Colosseum, not as emperor, but as gladiator god. He will fight. He will win. He will be crowned not by tradition, but by spectacle. Commodus is no longer ruling. He is performing. He spends hours in his private gym, wrestling, training, posing. He bathes in oils. He wears lion skins. He speaks in riddles. He believes he is Hercules reborn. His advisors are terrified. His mistress, Marcia, once trusted, now watches him with dread. His chamberlain, Eclectus, knows the empire is crumbling. And his wrestling partner, Narcissus, sees the emperor not as a god, but as a target. That morning, Commodus writes a list, a death list. Names of senators, advisors, even Marcia herself. He plans to purge them all, but Marcia finds the list. She reads her name. She knows what's coming. She doesn't scream. She doesn't cry. She walks to Eclectus. She walks to Narcissus. And together they decide, tonight, the emperor dies. That evening, Commodus enters his bath. Steam rises. The marble glows. He is calm. He is pleased. He believes tomorrow will be his coronation. Marcia enters with a goblet of wine. She smiles. She bows. She offers the drink. Commodus takes it. He drinks. He laughs. He doesn't notice the bitterness. He doesn't notice the silence. Minutes pass. His breath slows. His limbs weaken, but he does not die. The poison fails. His body resists. And now he is angry. Marcia and Eclectus panic. If Commodus survives, they die. If he speaks, they fall. They call for Narcissus, the wrestler, the man who has trained with Commodus, the man who knows his body, the man who knows how to break it. Narcissus enters the bath chamber. Commodus is groggy. His eyes are half closed. His muscles twitch. He tries to speak. He tries to rise. But Narcissus is already moving. He grabs a towel. He wraps it around the emperor's neck. He pulls hard. Commodus thrashes. His arms flail. Water splashes. His feet kick against the marble. His mouth opens. No words, just gasps. Narcissus tightens the grip. The emperor's face turns red, then purple, then pale. His eyes bulge, his lips tremble, his body spasms, and then stillness. The emperor is dead, not in battle, not in glory, but naked, alone, strangled in his own bath. The man who thought he was a god died like a man, afraid, forgotten. The Senate rejoices. They erase his name from monuments. They declare him a tyrant. They restore the old calendar. They burn his statues. But the damage is done. Commodus's reign has weakened Rome. His madness has poisoned the empire. And his death marks the end of the Nerva Antonine dynasty, the golden age of emperors. What follows is chaos. Generals fought for the throne. Senators schemed. Assassinations became routine. And the empire, once held together by philosophy and law, began to unravel under the weight of ambition and fear. The year of the 5 emperors followed, 5 rulers in 12 months, each one clawing for power, each one falling to betrayal. Commodus had opened the floodgates, and Rome was drowning. He was born to a philosopher, he died by a towel, and in between, he turned Rome into a circus. Commodus didn't just fall, he collapsed, dragging the empire with him. This isn't just a murder. It's the moment Rome stopped believing in gods and started fearing its own reflection. History remembers Commodus not as a ruler, but as a warning, a man who inherited wisdom and chose vanity, a man who could have been great, but chose to be worshipped. He became a symbol of imperial decay, of what happens when power is unchecked, of what happens when ego replaces duty, and centuries later his story still echoes in books, in classrooms, in cinema. In 2000, Ridley Scott's Gladiator brought Commodus back to life, twisted, theatrical, and cruel. Played by Joaquin Phoenix, the character was fictionalized, but the core remained, a man who wanted to be loved, feared, and remembered, no matter the cost. The film turned him into a villain, but history had already done that. He left behind a broken empire, a legacy of fear, and a lesson carved into marble. Power without wisdom is poison. Leadership without humility is madness. And even emperors bleed. He renamed Rome after himself. He fought in the arena. He believed he was a god. But in the end, Commodus died not with glory, but with silence. And Rome, the eternal city, learned that even the strongest walls can crack from within. If this story moved you, subscribe to the Red Pages of History and join us as we turn the next page. Until then, I'll see you in the next episode.